Hi, I'm Jason Stujanki. Every day, viewers like you contact me. Maybe you've been scammed or ripped off, or maybe you simply need advice. That's what I'm here for, to help you make informed decisions to protect your family and your wallet. So our Action 9 team reached back into the archives to show you our top investigations over the last few weeks. Popular cars and trucks vibrating on the road. Some call it the Chevy Shake, but it's more than just Chevys. I've been investigating this topic for months. In fact, I've received more than 130 complaints so far, more than any other topic since I took over Action 9 7 years ago.
Okay, this is a 2018 Chevrolet Colorado 4x4. I bought it brand new. The sticker on it was $36,000.
Wesley Sherrill says he had only put about 1,200 miles on his Chevy Colorado truck when it started happening.
You know, you're going down the freeway, it would do this shudder like running over ripple strips. It just like, blah, 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 blah.
Sherrill knows cars. He's an auto mechanic.
You spend your hard-earned money, and you feel like you're going with a vehicle you can trust, a brand you can trust.
And as I said, he's far from alone. I've received 94 complaints so far about the same issue from people including Stephen Brack, Julie Fay, Selena Alamua, Landon Poplin, and Steve Vandenacker. Another viewer sent me this video. He put a bottle of cranberry juice in the cup holder. You can see it vibrating. The juice is bubbling so much it looks like it's boiling. He told me he's been to the dealer 6 times and that his truck still shakes.
So I took it in.
Sherrill says he took his truck in to the dealer 3 times.
This is it. They're fixing it or they're buying it back. I'm done.
He says finally the dealer replaced a part called the torque converter, and it worked.
They fixed it?
They fixed it, and I've never had a problem out of it since.
Multiple viewers who contacted me told me their dealer also blamed the torque converter and either repaired or replaced it. Some say that worked, some say it didn't. So the torque converter, some say that's the solution, some say it isn't. There's a lot of talk on both sides out there on the internet if you go and look it up. In the meantime, I've been asking GM what it has to say about all of this. It hasn't told me a lot. It's being very careful with its words, possibly because of the lawsuit that is out there. In the meantime, if you have the vibration issue, make sure you go to the dealer for no other reason than to at least document the problem. What would you do if someone stole hundreds of dollars out of your bank account? Well, a local woman insisted she was the victim of ATM skimming right here at this ATM, but that the bank didn't believe her and stuck her with the loss until Action 9 got involved.
I'm a single mom taking care of 4 kids.
Plus, Cellulita Glenn is on disability. So she has this, a Direct Express card. The federal government puts money on it for her every month. Glenn went to this ATM, Cash Points on Eastway Drive.
That's the only place I get money out with that card.
A few weeks later, she found out someone had accessed her account.
How much did they take?
$683.
She thought there must have been a skimming device on the ATM. She reported it to Direct Express. The company investigated, then sent her this letter.
We cannot confirm that fraud occurred. It's really upsetting, because that's not a little bit of money to sweep up underneath the rug.
She called Action 9, and frankly, I didn't know if we could help. I needed some proof there was a skimming device. I asked police if they had any cases at this ATM recently. The answer, no. So step 2, I asked the State Employees Credit Union the same question. It runs Cash Points ATMs, and get this, the credit union told me yes, it had removed a skimming device from this ATM recently. That was all the evidence I needed. So I took that straight to the U.S. Treasury Department, which handles media requests for Direct Express. I asked the agency to reconsider Glenn's case. I assumed it could take weeks or even months and planned to stick with it, but just 7 days later, the bank the Treasury Department uses for Direct Express told Glenn, well, just watch. I'm so happy for you. Oh, you must feel great, huh? Oh, I know. Did you think it was going to happen?
I did. I
Not without you.
I'm so happy
I don't
for
think it
you.
would have happened without you.
The bank reimbursed all $683.
And she wasn't alone. Others had the same problem at this ATM. So far, we've helped 3. Now let's talk about the student debt crisis. And that's really what it is, a crisis. Right now in North Carolina, records show more than 1 million college graduates are struggling to pay back their loans. You may even be among them. And a lot of folks are even putting off major life decisions like buying a house or even starting a family.
It's hard.
Cassandra Pelton has 2 degrees, one in science, one in accounting. Sure, 2 degrees can cost more than one, but listen to how much she owes.
At least over $70,000.
Wow.
She told me she has a steady job and, unfortunately, steady student loan bills too, about $400 each month.
It would be nice to be able to save for things and, use that money elsewhere.
Elsewhere, like buying a house or having kids.
I wouldn't want to put children into that type of situation where I didn't have money because my student loans were, I had to pay my student loans.
Christina Collier is a lawyer in Cornelius. She handles bankruptcies and told me she meets a lot of college grads in debt.
They go to school with the expectation that they're going to come out and they're going to make $75,000 a year, or they're going to make $80,000, and they actually can only get a job making $35,000 or $40,000.
The Center for Responsible Lending, CRL, did a study. It found 1.2 million North Carolinians have college debt. They owe a combined $44 billion. And the scariest part, about 1/3 defaulted.
That's a pretty negative trend.
Rochelle Sparko is CRL's director of North Carolina policy.
Students who still want to go to college, and most of us do because we've heard a lot about how that's sort of the path to the middle class and a better future, are taking on ever increasing amounts of debt, and an increasing number of students are taking on student loan debt in order to pursue that dream.
Most student loans are federal, so here's advice for those. It usually pays to consolidate, see what the interest rate would be, and if it's worth it. Then look at the various repayment plans. Chances are you're on a 10-year plan with a high monthly payment, but many college grads don't know there are 7 other choices. If you default on your loan, the good news is it doesn't kick in right away. You still have 270 days to switch to a different repayment option and get back in good standing. The bad news, if you end up in bankruptcy, most people don't realize you still have to pay back your student loans. There are exceptions, but they're rare.
Were you the first in your family?
Yes.
The first in her family to go to college. No small feat. Pelton figured she'd find a way to pay the bills. She still hopes to, and sooner rather than later, so she can start that family.
10 years ago, I thought by this time I would have children and a family.
And you don't, and one of the reasons is student debt?
Yeah, I can't afford children.
As you just heard, Cassandra has both federal and private loans. I told you about the federal ones. Here's a little bit about the private ones. First of all, they're less forgiving. You have fewer options, and the first time you don't pay, you default. There's no 270-day grace period. One bump against the gas stove in your family could be in serious danger. I investigate why there haven't been any recalls for this specific issue on certain models and what you can do to protect your family in the meantime. I warn you about scams and hackers all the time. Now the Facebook con that left one woman out thousands of dollars. I tell you about Facebook scams all the time, but this one I hadn't actually seen before. Hackers got into a woman's Facebook account and used her personal information to buy ads to, get this, scam other Facebook users.
Annie Beth Donahue has a few businesses. One of them involves product management.
So how important is social media to you being able to do your job?
It is my job.
She has a Facebook account and the ads manager page with it, so she can take out ads on Facebook. She pays for them using PayPal, but one day
September 29th, I went to bed.
She
and I
says when she woke
on
up,
October 1st.
she couldn't get into her Facebook account.
I started getting notifications from PayPal that I had charges. There were a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there.
About $2,000 total. She says PayPal told her someone had hacked her Facebook account.
It was also a wake-up call that could happen at any time.
You find all sorts of similar stories online. One person wrote, "I feel so embarrassed. My Facebook ad account was hijacked." Another said, "It's your worst online nightmare. Someone with bad intentions getting into your accounts."
PayPal gave me my money back almost instantaneously.
But Donahue says Facebook was a different story.
They did tell me that my account had violated community standards and that I had posted inappropriate content through the ads. But what really happened was I was hacked, and a hacker took out ads that were inappropriate.
By inappropriate, can you tell me more specific? Like, do you know
They never
what?
told me.
I just happened to get a message that I couldn't sign in.
Brian Haskins is a lawyer and real estate agent in Charleston, South Carolina. He relies on Ads Manager and told me he found himself locked out of Facebook too. It turned out to be something other than a hacker, but as with Donahue, he says Facebook didn't give his account back easily.
I just kept trying to do what it told me to do, which was to re-enter a new password and then try and log in. So that's what I did for, I'd say probably 3 or 4 times a day for the almost week that I was locked out. And finally, it just happened to work.
So I went on Twitter and I complained.
A national tech writer saw her tweets and wrote about her case. She says Facebook found out and let her back on, but she told me it took about a month, a strain on her and her business.
I can't do my job if I'm not on social media channels.
Now, obviously, this is some scary stuff, so let's talk about what you can do to avoid Facebook hacking. First of all, use stronger passwords. Don't give admin control to more people than you have to. Go to your security settings in Facebook and make sure the login alerts are on so you know if someone logs in from a device you haven't used. And put dollar limits on your ads account so at least a hacker can't run up the tab too much. A local man fell for a common scam involving a credit card and lost thousands. But even though the scam is common, there's some bold twists I want you to know about.
I mean, we were in a panic.
Dan Hasley says the scammer called his wife, claimed to be with Microsoft, and said there was a problem with Hasley's Discover card.
Did that seem odd at all that Microsoft would know about Discover's business?
Did a little bit.
But Hasley went along with it. He told me the scammer passed him off to another scammer who said she was with Discover.
And we trusted her.
Hasley says the woman told him there was a bogus charge on his Discover card and they could clear it up by paying, which he realized didn't make much sense, but he just wanted the situation fixed. Hasley says the scammer made him stay on the phone and drive around for hours to Sam's Club, GameStop, Walmart, and Nordstrom, buying gift cards, scratching off the backs, and reading the numbers.
So we just blindly followed her.
He says eventually she let him off the phone, and he still didn't realize he'd been scammed. But she called back the next day.
So she tried to hit you up
So
again.
she tried to hit me again.
Fewer than 24 hours later.
Yes.
Looking back, he doesn't know why, but he went to Best Buy, GameStop again, and Walmart again, and bought more gift cards.
Ultimately, how much did you spend?
Ultimately, I believe it's $13,500. I felt like I was an idiot.
Now, I really give him credit for coming forward. He was embarrassed, but he and I really wanted to make sure you don't fall for the same thing. So be suspicious if someone calls you out of the blue, says he or she is with a company you use or the government, doesn't let you off the phone easily, and wants you to pay for something, especially using gift cards. If the caller is telling the truth, he or she will let you hang up and check on your own, no problem. A woman wanted her precious memories captured on tape to last forever, but when the company she hired to convert the tape to DVD stopped responding, she turned to Action 9. The steps I went through to make sure she got her precious memories back. gas stoves, the knobs can be sensitive. Pets and children can bump them into the on position accidentally, and that's a major hazard. I investigate ways to keep your family safe. Let's talk about gas stoves, specifically the ones with the knobs in the front. Some customers say they're so sensitive, you can accidentally bump them into the on position and release gas into the air without even meaning to. Now, a local woman brought this to my attention. I went to her house to see it for myself, and she has an LG stove.
Allie Washburn says she was walking up to her front door.
It smelled like gas really strongly, and I thought it was just outside and maybe there was a leak somewhere, but I got closer to the door and I opened the door and I realized it was definitely in the house.
She grabbed her dog and got out.
So I called 911 right away and they came out. They said that the back burner had just been leaking gas, and I hadn't used the stove honestly in days. One of us must have just bumped it lightly. If I would have been gone longer, I mean, I just happened to be gone for 2 hours. If I would have been gone longer, I don't know what could have happened.
I went through Consumer Product Safety Commission records. I looked for complaints about LG stoves where customers claimed you can knock the knobs into the on position too easily. I found more than 20. I also found in 2012, LG recalled 161,000 electric stoves for the same issue, but it hasn't recalled any gas stoves like Washburn's.
I think it's really scary if you have a kid and it could, your child could walk right by and hit it and not even know, and then you're in your home going on about your life and you might not smell it right away, and it could just be really scary, especially if you have young kids at home.
Now, LG told the Consumer Product Safety Commission its stoves pass all safety standards. Now, after this news report ran, another viewer saw it and contacted me. She told me her stove has the same issue, but that it's not an LG, it's a Frigidaire. So I looked up Frigidaires, and I saw a number of customers can relate to her problem.
Kendall Hicks saw my news report about the LG gas stoves and sent me a message saying the knobs on her Frigidaire are sensitive too.
You can just bump into it, like if you're walking through the kitchen, bump into it, and just that little bit of pressure from you bumping into it pushes it in, and it will just, the gas will start to come out.
Frigidaire recalled stoves and ovens at least 3 times in the last 10 years for fire hazards in 2009, 2012, and 2016. But none of these involve the knobs being too sensitive. I searched complaints to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. I found 9 about this issue. For example, gas comes on when stove knob is barely touched, very easily turned on accidentally, and the slightest movement will cause gas to be emitted. In one of the cases, the customer said he or she did an online chat with Frigidaire, and the rep said customers complained in the past that the knobs were hard to turn, so the company made them easier for, quote, effortless lighting. Kendall Hicks thinks they're too effortless.
Show me how.
So if you just bump it like that, the gas is on, and you can hear the gas coming out.
Yeah, I hear it.
And you smell it immediately. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's really scary when you think about natural gas leaking into your home. It could cause a fire.
Now, there is something you can do about all of this. You can buy knob covers, these safety covers. I did a quick search on Amazon and saw that you can buy a set for just about $7. Now, some people don't like how they look or tell me they're cumbersome, so I'm constantly looking for other options for you. And around that same time, a company based in Virginia actually contacted me. It told me it had seen my news reports and that it actually makes a replacement knob for this exact reason. It sent me one of them. I told the company if it sends me one, I can go ahead and test it and let viewers know if it works, and it actually does. The thing is, you can't bump it into the on position because you have to squeeze both sides to rotate it. Only then can you turn it on and release gas into the air. Now, as you know, I don't normally endorse products, but if I feel there's something out there that could really help you in a safety situation, I want you to know about it. The Social Security imposter scam. That's where A scammer calls you, pretends to be with Social Security, and tries to get your personal information and money. Well, I've told you about this scam before, but it's always worth telling you about it again because I see it so often and I still see folks fall victim to it, including this Kannapolis woman who told me she gave a scammer all of the money in her bank account.
Shaquella Settles got this phone call.
Legal proceedings against you.
She called back and says the person who picked up said he was with Social Security.
They said my name. Are you such and such? Yes, I am. They verified the last four of my Social Security number. And they said, well, a crime has been committed with your name on it, your Social Security number, and it's an ongoing investigation. I'm like, what is it that I need to do to proceed with this ongoing investigation to clear my name? They said that they will be issuing me a new Social Security number.
But there was a charge, a big one.
They just told me to go to the bank and take all of my money out of the bank.
She says she did $3,000.
All of your money?
All of it, every dime.
Then Settles says the scammer told her to go to this Harris Teeter and this Food Lion, buy gift cards, scratch off the backs, and read him the numbers over the phone.
I still didn't think nothing of it. I'm crying, upset.
Eventually, she told a friend who told her the painful truth. It was a scam.
When she said that, that made me question. And I called the cards, and there was no money on them. So now I'm just out of $3,000 because I can't afford for me and my family to be out on the streets.
Just remember, Social Security will never call you out of the blue, threaten you, or ask you to pay using gift cards, prepaid cards, or wire transfer. If you have any questions, contact Social Security yourself, and don't trust the number on your caller ID. That could be spoofed. Find it out another way, like go online and Google Social Security and make sure you use the number that's on the website that ends in .gov. A woman wanted to transfer her home videos to DVD, so she gave a company money and her precious videotapes. When she didn't hear from the company after a while, she got very nervous. They were lost forever, so she turned to Action 9, the lengths we went to get all of that back for her. A woman wanted her home videos converted to DVD, and she had a lot of tapes like these, and so she sent the company the tapes and her money. But a lot of time passed, and she was having a hard time, she told me, getting in touch with the company. She was worried about the money, but she was even more worried about getting those precious memories back.
Shariva White has a bag full of videotapes, cherished memories. She saw a Groupon to convert 10 videos to DVD for about $60. So she bought it and mailed the tapes to the company called Memories on Media. She told me the job was supposed to take 2 or 3 months, but when I met her, she said she was already up to 10.
I just want the tapes back. I don't even care about the money. I can, I don't care about the $60. My memories are worth way more than $60.
Ultimately, I went to Winston-Salem to find the owner of the business. He promised to send White's tapes back immediately, and he did.
The VHS tapes.
And the DVDs, too. So I went over her house today.
Now your kids will get to see this.
Right.
Had they ever seen this before?
They haven't.
She showed me 2 of her most precious ones, her husband proposing, and the last video of her grandmother.
I'm so happy that I called you and Action 9 actually came out and helped. I'm so excited.
All right, if I could only give you one piece of advice in this situation, it's this. If you're going to give someone home videos that are so special to you, that are one of a kind, at least go ahead and shoot your own video of those videos first. I know that sounds a little cheesy and the quality ain't great, but you may want to do that because if those tapes get lost, at least you'll still have some copy for the rest of your life. Well, that's all for now. If you've been misled, overbilled, or ripped off, Let us look into it for you. You can fill us in on what's been going on by emailing action9@wsoctv.com. I'm also constantly updating you guys on where my investigations stand on the WSOC TV Facebook page. We'll be back in a few weeks with more of our investigations. Until then, keep up with all of our stories on the WSOC TV channel, on your Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire Stick.